Welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to look at Form 2 Mathematics under the topic linear motion, and we know that linear motion is movement along a straight line. Let us look at this question together, and the question reads, a country bus left town A at 11:45 am and traveled towards B at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. So let us look at the working to this question as we read it together. So we have two towns. We have town A. We also have town B. And the bus is leaving town A, going towards town B. And the bus has started at 11:45 am with a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. With a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. A matatu left town B at 1:15 p.m. We have a matatu leaving town B, moving towards town A at 1:15 p.m. And the matatu is traveling at an average speed of 90 kilometers per hour. So the distance between the two towns is 540 kilometers. The distance between A and B is 540 kilometers. So let us look at the question. Determine the time of the day when the two vehicles met. So the first thing we need to calculate it is the distance covered by the bus between 11:45 and 1:15 before the matatu started from town B. So if you look at the time difference, the time difference is going to be equal to 1:15 p.m. you less 11:45 am, and the time difference between 11:45 and 1:15 is actually 1.5 hours. So we need to calculate the distance covered by the bus for 1.5 hours before the matatu began the journey. So distance covered by a bus for 1.5 hours. So when we talk about distance, we know distance is given by speed times time, and in this case the speed of the bus is 60 kilometers. We multiply by the time, which is 3 out of 2 as an improper fraction, and if you work out this, 2 goes to itself once, it goes to 60 30 times, and if you take 30 you multiply by 3, this one will give us 90 kilometers. So it means the matatu is starting the journey when the bus has already covered 90 kilometers, and now we are at 1:15 p.m. So the distance remaining, because now at 1:15 the bus is moving and the matatu is moving, the distance between the two vehicles is going to be 540 minus 90, which gives us 450 kilometers. So we are supposed to calculate the time of the day when the two vehicles met, but first we need to calculate time taken to meet. Time taken to meet is given by the distance between the two vehicles. Always we take the distance between two vehicles. The distance between the two vehicles we divide by what we call relative speed. We divide by what we call the relative speed, and already we know the distance between the two vehicles is 450 kilometers. Now we need to calculate relative speed. Since the two vehicles are approaching one another, then the relative speed is going to be equal to the speed of A, or the speed of the bus. We add the speed of the matatu. This one is going to give us 60 plus 90, which gives us 150 kilometers per hour. Now that we have our relative speed, we can calculate the time taken for the two vehicles to meet, and the time taken is going to be equal to 450. You divide by the average, the relative speed, and the relative speed is 150 kilometers per hour, which gives us 3 hours. So it means the time they took to meet is 3 hours, that is from 1:15. So to get the time they met, will be equal to, they started competing at 1:15 p.m. So you add 3 hours they took to meet, and this one is going to give us 4:15 p.m. on the same day, and by so doing you have worked out that particular part very, very well. So already this is the solution for part A. Now we can move to part B of the question. And part B of the question is how far from town A the two vehicles met. So what we need to calculate is that, or what we need to understand is that, for part B, or to get the distance from town A to where the two vehicles met, we need to calculate the time between 4:15 when the two vehicles met and the time the bus started, since we are supposed to calculate the distance from A. So difference in time, that is between 11:45 a.m. and 4:15 p.m. So if you work out the distance between, the time between 11:45 and 4:15, you get 4.5 hours. Now that we have the time between 11:45 when the bus started and the time when the two vehicles met, we can now calculate the distance, and we know distance is given by speed times time. Since we are calculating the distance from A, we are going to use the speed of the bus, which is 60. We multiply by the time, and the time is going to be 9 out of 2 as an improper fraction, and this one is going to give us 2 goes to 60 to itself once, it goes to 60 30 times. If you take that, you multiply by 9, this one is going to give us 270 kilometers, and that is the distance covered from A to the point where the two vehicles met. Then now C, we are supposed to determine how far outside town B the bus was when the matatu reached town A. So in part C, we have to calculate the time the matatu took from B to A. And to do that, remember the matatu had to cover 540 kilometers with a speed of 90, and this one gives us 6 hours. That is 540. You divide by 90, this one gives us 6 hours. And now we need to calculate the time matatu reached A. time matatu reached A, will be equal to, the matatu started its journey at 1:15 p.m. and it took 6 hours along the way. So if you take 1, you add 6, you are going to get 7:15 p.m. So we need now to calculate, since the matatu was reached at 7:15 p.m. and the bus started at 11:45, we need to calculate the total time covered between 11:45 and 7:15. So we have now to go to time moved, because the bus was moving all this time. Time moved by bus between, that is between 11:45 a.m., that is 11:45 a.m. and 7:15 p.m. because all this, the bus was traveling, so it traveled for how many hours? So if you take 7:15 minus 11:45, this one is going to give us 7.5 hours. So we need to calculate the distance covered by the bus for 7.5 hours. Now the distance here, distance moved by the bus, is going to be equal to, you take the speed of the bus, which is 60, you multiply by the time, and the time is going to be equal to 15/2. So if you do this question, 2 goes to itself once, it goes to 60 30 times, and if you take that, you multiply by 15, this one gives us 450 kilometers. This one gives us 450 kilometers. That means from A towards B, the bus has traveled for 450 kilometers when the matatu reached town A. So how far outside town B? To get how far outside B, how far outside B, we are going to take the total distance, which is 540. We minus the distance covered by the bus from A, which is 450, and this gives us 90 kilometers, and that is the answer to this particular question. Thank you for watching, and welcome to our channel.